just seems to be an altar in there, nothing else. I've got better pictures from earlier. So guys, this is Abercorn Church. It's an ancient site. It's one of the earliest known places for Christianity, apparently, this part of Scotland. The Venerable Bede mentions it in the English history. Abercorn Church. Some pretty cool gravestones here. Like the Memento Mori style gravestones. Could be a date on there. Is it? So this has been an old church. It's been redone up over and over again over the years. There's still remnants of the original church, and even before the original church, this was an ancient site for the Picts. So this area here has always been, according to history, sacred ground. Abercorn Church. Mori gravestones. The cherub, the skull, and you've got it's like a wee angel of death almost with the time. But the style like Mori, which means death is coming, it's inevitable. That's like a wee hand holding a book there. Some pretty cool ones over here as well. Kind of buried into the ground. This one seems to have a rake and a shovel. This obviously was a trade. WB. These ones are half buried in the ground as well. And if you look up the history of these gravestones, they try and say that the people were illiterate, that's why they had these symbols. But they weren't illiterate. Sided, and they usually had inscription or engraving in writing. Made because the people. It's a nice obelisk. Aye. There's a big tree there, big pine. A wee gravestones underneath it. This one. This looks rather royal. I'm guessing looking at that one, that's maybe the royal blacksmith. You see the horseshoe, the crown, and the anvil, which gives me the impression it's like a royal blacksmith, something to do with for the king's horses. Quite a late one actually, it's 1821. That's late for around here. Let's see. Look at this one. This one's almost buried. Christ, man. It's almost gone. Almost gone. That's a massive tree. It's like here or something. Look at these ones. It's just got JC on it. That was JD on that one. I wonder if it's James Douglas. James Douglas. This church here, Abercorn Church, has something to do with the Douglases and James back in the day. But this is an ancient. This is one of the first bishops in Northumbria was seated here. You had York, you had here Abercorn, and you had Hexham. So there was 4 seats, 4 bishops in Northumbria. And I think the Picts got them out. Well, this place was Saint Ninian was meant to have visited this place. I think the year 600 or before Saint Ninian. But it does have something to do with the Douglas family. I think the original chapel, James II, when he was fighting the Douglases. We'll go and see what this tree says. See what the tree says. I'll probably lose signal again because of this big tree. Let's see. In memory of Richard E. Martin and Mac, his faithful friend. 2009. Oh, that's just a plaque that's been put there for him. See, there's some old stones. Left to be Christmas decks. It's a huge tree. Not sure how old this tree is. It's easily hundreds of years old. Almost looks like there's a gravestone. There's a stone. This is a stone. There's a gravestone grown over it. The tree's just grown over the stone. Here. That's crazy. So maybe there was a gravestone here and they planted a tree, because that was quite a common practice, to plant a tree and put the person there, put a gravestone there. So maybe the tree's just grown right over the stone, the gravestone. Amazing place, guys. Amazing place. The Venerable Bede, like I said, mentioned this place. It's actually got a wee museum up here as well. I've been in it, the museum, and it's got old ancient Norse stones. It's got old stones in it. Pretty cool. Have a wee closer look at the church. This is part. You see the picture, it's all different sections. You can see that's an old, that was obviously an old archway for a window. So this is separate from this. This is like an extension. I'm in the middle of nowhere. It's a place called Abercorn. When I go to these old churches, I always seem to come across these old vassals, these old stone bricks that have been carved out. I don't know if that has anything to do with baptism. You see here, pretty old. It's quite a spooky one. Look at that. Pretty spooky. And like I said before, the Wikipedia page says that they use these symbols because literacy wasn't widespread back in 1600s, but you can see they've all got writing. Water troughs. That's a good one, guys. DDID. And it looks like that was a lion. A lion rampant. You can see the hands coming out, you can see the tail, you see the head up there. So it's like the lion rampant. It was an old seal. You see in here, an old cairn, or old. So I think this is the original part of the church. This is probably the oldest part, possibly. I'm not sure. Hey guys, sorry about that. As soon as you get too close to any building, you lose a sea for ancient. This is older than this part. You lose a sea for ancient. This is older than this part. The windows. You can still see red. I'm just amazed with this roof. It's like slabs, concrete slabs almost. Concrete roof. Obviously it's not concrete, it's stone. It's stone slabs. It's still amazing. I'll not go too close because you can see off at some point maybe a shrine to Saint Ninian, something like that. That looks like concrete in between all that. And shells. I've noticed a lot of shells around here, like seashells. There's a lot of seashells just scattered around here. Though obviously this has been something else here. These places are hardly known. But yep, I think this was sold to the Hope family from the Hamiltons. A block doorway to the south side of the church dates back to the 1100s. Well, this is the south side here, guys. This is the south side, and this is the block doorway. This is the block doorway. I don't want to go too close because I'll lose the signal. But you can see there's a pattern. You can see there's a couple of little pillars at each side. thanks for that information. So this doorway dates back to the 1100s, according to, was it Sean in my chat? Thanks for that info. It's funny because this side looks really old. This part, these two parts look really old. I think the lion on the top looks quite happy there. He's got a jolly lion. He's happy. So this is another place, almost like a pilgrimage. These places aren't really mentioned in the mainstream news. The most important sites of Christianity in Scotland. It really is, and people don't really know it. So that looks like Jesus up there, Christ. Look at that doorway, guys. How evil does that doorway look? It's almost got a Japanese oriental feel to it. The tongue sticking out. Almost something satanic about that archway, guys. That doorway. Something evil about it. It's obviously very new. Nice up there, looks like a dragon of some sort. Some sort of dragon. A bit like the griffin and the Welsh flag. Reminds me of the griffin there. And you got the old rope here to pull the bell. What? Right up to the bell. Aye, pretty cool place. I've took lots of video and photography when it was sunnier. Actually, it was beautiful here earlier. I might lose signal here, but don't know what that's for. Maybe there was an old pagan ritual happening. Or it just could be a roof. Sombrero. Look at these graves. Almost lost. Lost in time. Probably lose the signal. That's quite a big gravestone as well. Just enveloped by the ivy. 1825 isn't the oldest. The other one's here. There's more gravestones here, but can't really see them. Lost. It's got a similar Gothic architecture above the. This is all much later. This is Norman style, with the gargoyle type creatures. So, a place where St. Ninian visited to bring Christianity to the Picts. This was a seat for the Northumbrian bishops in Hexham, York, Lindisfarne, and here, Abercorn Church. And that over there is a museum, which I've already been inside, and I left a little donation. And in their donation, Thomas Nimmo. And Stuart McCara, 1965. Greater love hath no man than this. Yep, there's lots of like shells. There's lots of shells when you walk around this place, Abercorn. For some reason, there's a lot of shells kicking about. Not a lot, but they're just scattered here and there. It's unusual. See some kind of skull and crossbones there. Raining cats, dogs and shells. It's just, thought that could be a shell, but looks to be just a piece of quartz. It's a nice piece of quartz. No matter how big and fancy the headstone, you'll still be dead. Too right, mate, too right. This is obviously the Hope family crest, I think. Still people coming here. We're quite happy that someone in the chat managed to research that part. That looks like it had something here. This part here looks like it had something. When you think about it, that was probably this was probably an archway through here to something. It probably didn't face this crossaway. Probably faced north to south. Now it faces east to west. The original church probably faced north to south. And I'm sure there's a reason for why they build the churches facing certain directions. Wipe your feet. Wipe your feet. Lost connection again, sorry guys. Sorry about that again, guys. Look at this gravestone. It's starting to rain now. This one's 1662. This one's 1662. Look at that. Look at that. Just shows you, yeah? Just shows you. Just the tip of the iceberg, yeah? Look at that one as well. I wonder how many are actually buried right underneath. Right under. I'll keep that little piece of quartz I found. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. That doesn't even look like a grave. It's like more of a rune stone. Doesn't look like it's been carved in any way or smoothed. That looks more of an older stone than these carved ones. This looks ancient. This could be the oldest gravestone I came across in this. I've got a bit of flatter back here, but it looks, I don't know. That doesn't even look like a gravestone. That looks like it could have been more of a standing stone. Hope you're having a good Sunday, guys. This is me. I'm no one for standing in churches. This is my the way I spend a Sunday, visiting old sites. It's a funny looking obelisk. So guys, Abercorn Church, and I might take you into that museum over there. It's a wee museum, but I might lose the signal. I couldn't get a signal. But here's another place. This side of the cut, this side is more modern, I'd say. On this side, closer to the church, you get the older stones. But look at that, holding a crescent moon. Sans, is that sans back or sans sack? Now there's no bucky bottles like the ones in Edinburgh. The mausoleums in Edinburgh have usually got syringes and junkies sleeping in them. Actually, I was doing a live stream in Calton Hill, and I went into one of the mausoleums, and there was there's maybe a measuring tape up there. Here's a grave here. 1827. Archibald Douglas. Archibald Douglas, schoolmaster of Abercorn, in memory of James Douglas, his son who died the 4th of March. Archibald Douglas. So these are the Archibald Douglases. And I'm sure this is something to do with James Douglas, the ferocious gunman, Scots warlord Douglas. It's a huge tree. It's a nice Celtic cross. This is obviously modern brickwork here, modern architecture compared to this is an older wall here. You see two different styles of architecture. You can almost say three or four different styles of architecture here, different ages up here. Look at the way the rock, the grain in the rock. Oh you fucker, big spider. Somebody could have told me that. You see this style, and it goes into a different style. Amazing stuff though guys, amazing stuff. When I'm at places like this, I'm the most happiest, most content when I go on my little walks on my own and explore these kind of places. There's nothing that sets imagination off in these kind of places. I love them. I love them. So much beauty in these places. That's an unusual style of grave. Almost like a corbel. It's almost like a corbel on its side. Like usually you see corbels and houses, they're usually that way, on top of a pillar or archway I've never seen a corbel style. It could be a book. It could be styled as a page, a scroll. Hume of Godscroft in his History of the Douglases, we do not know them in the fountain, but in the stream, not in the root, but in the stem. Oh. For we know not who was the first mean man that did raise himself above the vulgar. Thanks, that's nice. Keep them coming, Sean, keep them coming. This is a true symbol of Celtic Christianity. The try. Bit more modern. Modern graves here. Sometimes just an M or a W. That one looks a bit older. Scholars. This is George Chalmers, Caledonian, derives the origin of the name of the Douglas water, tracing it to the Celtic words "da" glass, the Darm stream. He states, but without any warrant, the founder of the family was a Fleming named Theobald, who came to Scotland about 1150. Yep. Look at that. Look at that petal. These are even numbered. G48. Quite thin gravestone. Very, very thin gravestone. There's the Douglas name again. I can see the Douglas name again. There we go. Douglas. William, elder son of Arch Robertson, Manerston. That's one of the names in my family, Robertson. Gibson's another name. And my name Wolf. My name Wolf's actually Irish, but it was anglicised. It was actually Gaelic. It was something like Cuchulainn or something like that, and they anglicised it to Wolf. So my name Wolf was originally a Gaelic style name, but the Normans anglicised it. The Normans anglicised it. Crazy. They were French. There's William Hamilton. So you can see the names in this graveyard. Got a lot of Douglases, Hamiltons, Crichton. Crichton's another important name. The Crichton family was a powerful family in Scotland. I think they had something to do with Blackness Castle. The Crichtons. Thomas Arthur. William Kerr. Dale. Although this just looks like a normal, your normal church, this is a very significant part of Scottish history, especially religious and the religious aspect of it all. It's quite an important part. You won't really see much about it. You'll see very little on YouTube about it. See very little documentaries about it. If you dig within the history and dimensions of it. visit. Lindsay. Lindsay was another powerful name. Scotland. George Bruce. Obviously the Bruces were an important name. But a lot of people forget that Bruce and Wallace, like Sean was mentioned, they came from Norman families. As we've seen the coat of arms, guys. Oh, wee bird nearly flew into my leg there. Remember the coat of arms over in the mausoleum. That's the moon. Here's the wee museum. And this is where I'll probably lose signal, guys. So try and stand in the doorway, because I've taken photos already. Look at this place, guys. These are the hog stones. These are some Northumbrian crosses, broken crosses. I'm not going to go in the place because I actually tried to start my live stream from here and I couldn't get a signal. So I left a donation, and if he's subscribed to my channel, I'm going to make an Abercorn video. Look at that. Amazing. This one's 1710. Memento mori. Remember you're gonna die. That's what it kind of means. Remember you're gonna be here one day. More half-buried graves. St. James Spring, Hopetown Estate. More of these sort of half-buried ones sticking out, half-buried gravestones. This one. It's another one. But they're usually double-sided, these ones. They are double-sided. You can see the writing here. And for some reason, people, you just don't see a lot of Christian symbolism if you go back earlier than the 16th century. On gravestones anyway, you don't see anything Jesus crosses or anything like that. This is quite an interesting one. Look at this one. You've got your Celtic cross here. And you have, it looks like a blacksmith's pincers maybe. Like some sort of pincers or claw grabbing a, I don't know, is that a pillar? It could be a pillar. Archie and John Kidd. There's another one, 1734. Here lies James Dundas, who died upon the 29th of Ober, so it's either October, 1732, aged something years. Interesting stuff. Henry Duncan. I think that's 1829 or is it 1629? This one looks like it's been right, guys, I think I've almost overstayed my welcome. Robert Murray, schoolmaster of this parish, who died 14th of May, and of Isabel Kerr, his spouse, who died 18th of March 1855. And that's quite a grand one as well. And the rain's starting to come on as well, people. It's got an obelisk that goes right into the trees. It's actually got the writing on that side. I walked around 12 miles to get here. 10 miles maybe. 12 miles, something like that. But I call this my pilgrimage. I usually do this at the weekends. I go on a pilgrimage. But this is the rain coming down now. I don't know how, because it's quite blue up there. This is how I clear my mind, clear my thoughts. Amazing place, guys, amazing. And I've got a long walk home. I'm gonna have a cigarette first. I'll try and find somewhere to put my camera now. I'm not gonna turn my stream. I'm gonna have a cigarette. Have a cigarette. What a setting, eh? What a setting, guys. I've got my charger wire plugged into my phone, so I need to watch. A foul cigarette. Yep. Has to be. Some idiots flagged my last video, my last live stream. Plus I've got some locals behind me, so I can't even go walking around with a big J hanging out my mouth. There's locals. Look at that, guys. This is how I spend my Sundays. And I think I might make an exit now. A nice lamppost. Amazing place. I might come back here with my son. My son would like this place. Or I might come back here for a service. I want to see inside the church. Inside the church will probably be nice. And I heard they've got a private sort of balcony. The Hope family. They had their own little private part. So I'd like to see communion with the ancestors. Too right. Too right. Hugh Meikle. See him again. The cherub. The cherub, that became more childlike over the years, more. But they used to be scarier. It was more of a skull with the wings. in. It's like the Freemason. Memento Mori. Hiya. I think I'm going to get out of here. Look back on some of my photographs I took and my video. And I'll probably make up for my channel. I think I'll keep the stream going. This is interesting. This here this was over there in the mausoleum with a hand holding it. So the crescent moon is a big symbol here. It's just pretty cool to be walking around a ancient site like this. If you want to believe it's ancient, that is. There's a lot of people out there that think 100-year old. This ground was get Earl of Hopetown. This place was a holy site before the Earl of Hopetown showed up. Look at this. If you're not up for the gate, there's always stair. Look at the floating stair. Floating step over the wall. Oh. And so the Abercorn Church. A very stately home. Very stately home. Amazing area. I'm assuming this is a public cycle path. Right guys, I'm going to do another stream for going home, but I'll just end this one here. Hope you have a great Sunday guys. Cheers.